Module John Madden, Wednesday, the 24th of April. My final sunrise over Orizaba. In a few hours I'm going to jump a bus to Veracruz, the port, which I love dearly and can be by the ocean again. I've spent 7 weeks in Orizaba, and they have been magical weeks in one of Mexico's official magical pueblos. 6 of those weeks I have parked along Parque Alameda there, which is a magical park dedicated to magic. It's dedicated to Eugene Soler, I think that's his first name, who created Tree, which is magical, whimsical statues, kind of Disney-ish. Very beautiful, all through that park. At Cerro del Borrego, the mountain to the west of the park and of downtown central Orizaba. At the top of it, there's a wonderful park, and there are cable cars that run along those wires down to behind the beautiful Palace of Government. 100 pesos, you can ride the cable cars, and they are magical. That was the site of very, very important the war against the French, who were determined to keep this country for themselves. I've had so many adventures in that park. I'm going to go in out of the cold to tell the story about me in the park. Well, maybe I'll stay here for a minute. In the middle of the park, there's a big flagpole and a big concrete open area that's used for all kinds of things. Mechanical cars that the kids get to drive, and a Zumba class every morning at 8 o'clock, 6 days a week. And I'm going to come back in here to my lovely room in the Hotel Alameda, which my friends helped me get because my car was stolen on Sunday. My car got stolen on Sunday. And I've been a camper van guy for 4 years, 2 different camper vans. One important part of my identity, I'm camper van man, all through the southwest U.S., a year in South Texas, and now a year in Mexico. 2 different very old camper vans that break down a lot, and I've been losing my shirt trying to keep them on the last one on the road. Yeah. So the Zumba class, I was going to that Zumba class. I won't do anything as formal as dancercise, but I'd go out there and dance. And some people of the maybe 60 to 100 women, mostly women, who would come out every morning, some of them were irritated that I wasn't doing it right, and other people loved watching me dance, because I do dance amazingly well, honestly. So I crystallized an idea out there. My plan at this point is to spend half the year in Veracruz, the port, 3 hours east of here, out of the mountains. And then 6 months of the year in the Riviera Maya, Cancun, Cozumel. It's my one pre-Mexico friend is actually out there in Cozumel. Well, one of my missions is to get the word out about what I'm learning about Mexico and about life. I had a huge spiritual experience about 4 years ago, changed my life, and I have a lot to teach. I've always been a teacher, psychologist, college teacher, psychotherapist, management consultant with AT&T and other companies. And now a YouTuber, a videographer with hundreds of videos on YouTube that largely languish. They're getting more of a following now, more comments, more Mexicans. Twice as many viewers from Mexico as from the U.S. But how to get the word out? And I'm a dancer, and I organize dances. My birthday parties in Asheville, North Carolina were a thing of legend, always with a DJ and a big dance party. So out there in the park, I got the notion of I'm going to go through the city, the culture Office of Culture at the big Palacio de Gobierno City Hall, and offer a dance class ecstatic dance in the evening, a big dance party, and also a stress management class, because I've taught that since I ran my dissertation on stress management a long time ago. So the guy, Lazzaro Maldonado at the Office of Culture, liked the idea, but he said, we've never had a non-Orizaban teach a class out there, much less a gringo with limited Spanish skills. I was pretty sure my Spanish is now strong enough that I could do that. Well, that plan never got hatched, partly because I think it was the day after I talked with Lazzaro, I went out to the Zumba class and got fascinated by who here is genuinely dancing, who's really feeling the beat, who might be ready to cut loose and dance. And as the class ended and a cluster of women were visiting with the teacher, there was a young woman who I speculated was 17 or so, waiting for her mom. And on the stairs by the big flagpole was, I thought, dancing. She was doing moves that looked like ballet or like modern dance, and I got fascinated. And I snapped some pictures of her doing it because I wanted to remember her and try to approach her and her mom about this class. Well, why did I think that at 60 yards away she wouldn't notice this guy taking pictures of her? She did, and went to her mom and said, that man's taking pictures of me. And her mother went haywire. No, parents are protective everywhere. And mama bears especially. My mom was like that, all 5 foot of her. Don't mess with her kids. There's 7 boys. So that woman came over and read me the riot act. And I attempted to explain why I was taking the pictures and I'm not genuinely a creep. No, she wasn't hearing any of it. She called the cops. And so I said, okay, I'll wait for them to come, and had the whole thing explained in my Google Translator. By the time they came, I think 8 of them with AK-47s, and I attempted to stay cool. And they actually got it. The cops understood what I was doing and pretty quickly dropped the notion that I was a perp. But she would not be assuaged, and they got put in a real political pickle. They knew that if they did not give that woman some kind of satisfaction, they'd hear about it forever. And it's a trope in Mexico. Forget the sleepy senorita notion. Senoras in Mexico, do not mess with them. They won't scream, they won't call you names, but they will wear you down till they get what they want. And these cops knew that, so they arrested me. I was kind of surprised when they said I should assume the position and get handcuffed, but I knew. And before they let me off, the girl had been standing listening to the whole thing, and I think she understood my story, because I looked at her right before I left and said, Senorita, I'm so sorry. I never meant to harm you. And she didn't say anything, but she locked eyes with me the whole time, and I think she got it. So that was a real good ending. I think she knew that I really hadn't meant to hurt her. So I spent 7 hours in the jail. No, 11 hours in the jail. And before they left me, one of the cops said, don't worry, this has all been a big administrative error. That's how his Google Translator translated it. You'll be out of here in 12 hours. And I was. But within my first hour in the jail cell, which was a really well-run jail, I only saw one instance ever of anything disrespectful or unprofessional. But that instance was pretty terrible. Within my first hour in the cell, they gave me a cellmate who was maybe a 20-ish kid, looked to be drugged out or crazy, but it turned out he was drugged out because he cleared up over the course of the day. But within moments of him being put in the cell, some jailer who hated him, and he cycles through there, he's kind of a lost boy, but not a bad kid, not an aggressive kid. He was laying on the floor crying that his arm was broken, it looked bruised. And one jailer came in and kicked the shit out of him, 6 feet away from me. In my story to the police when I reported it later, I said 5 or 6 really tough punches from a big strapping jailer, maybe 40-ish, and I'm estimated 7 kicks, including right in the crotch. And I'm going, what am I going to do? I almost jumped on the back of that jailer, because that's the kind of stuff I do. Thank God something said, that's assault on an officer. No, 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 don't do that. So I screamed. And that broke it up because the guy knew there were witnesses. And over the course of the day, that kid cleared up and we became friends. I did everything I could to help him feel better. And I promised him, I'm going to get justice for you. I will tell your story. And when they released me at 10:30 at night, he reached his arm through the bars, gave me a fist bump, and said, "Amigos siempre," friends forever. And he'll never know that I did get justice for him, but I did. I went to the Department of Tourism. I knew the woman who ran the office and said, "Who should I talk to?" And she gave me the name of Maria Hernandez, the head of Human Resources at the big office of the City Hall, the Palace of Government. I went there, talked to her. She spoke no English, brought in her young assistant who spoke beautiful English. And by the time she had waded through my 7 screenshots from the Google Translator telling the story, she was up and out of the room. And her assistant said, "She is mad. She's calling the police captain right now," because this is not a city where you do stuff like that. It's a very well-run city, very humanistic, very happy city. It's all devoted to smiles, magical pueblo. And I wanted that guy fired. And I also knew I would be in danger if he was fired because he knew I was the only person who saw it, and I had complained to 2 jailers that day. Well, they were smart. Between Human Resources and the cops, they hatched a plan that was better than I've worked in human resource departments at AT&T and other places, but never as a generalist, always as a business consultant. And their plan, when I went back a few days later and said, "I wrote that long report for you and for the police captain, what's happening?" And that same young assistant explained, they decided not to fire him. They'd like to see if he could be rehabilitated. Why break him if you don't have to? And if we break him and fire him, he's got nothing to lose from going after John. Whereas if we put him on a short tether, having to go for therapy, cut and pay, but the promise of rehabilitation over very close supervision, he'll have everything to lose from messing with John. So that young woman, Bianca, said, "You don't have to worry, you can just enjoy Orizaba." So I proceeded to do that, really enjoy Orizaba, right until my car got stolen. About 5 days ago, my car got stolen. So I'm a pedestrian, no longer a van man, and actually today going to take the bus to Veracruz, which I love tremendously and have closer friends. So, a magical place. One of the beauties of spending half the year in Veracruz is that I thought I was going to just go to the Riviera Maya. I have 2 coaching products I could offer to people at the resorts there, augment my income, which Social Security check just doesn't make it, especially with a car that has been taking all my money, so it should do it better now. But I will be doing that idea, offering those 2 classes in Veracruz and maybe eventually in the Riviera Maya. And that may be the part of the real gold. Although the real gold is the people of Orizaba, the magical town of Orizaba, and I will always come back here every year to see my friends, to see this magical place. And I have hundreds of videos from these 7 weeks, like this one. Okay.